So yeah, look, the 2004-05 season, it was a very glorious one for John Terry on the pitch. And off it, he unwound by going on the mother of all shagging sprees. So in this one 12-month period, 2004 and 5, he is the subject of 8 different tabloid kiss and tells.
8?
So that's one every 6 weeks, basically. Yeah. And he's got a girlfriend, the lovely Tony, his future wife at this point, but that ain't stopping him. Anyway, in the interests of, public interest journalism, I've been going through the tabloid archives. I've read all the kiss and tells, and I've picked out 5 favourites. I guess they are in an order, actually.
Jack's top 5.
Yeah, I'm counting down from number 5. So, number 5, Jane Connery. So Jane Connery was a VIP hostess at Heathrow. So actually, she was working, those things in airports where you can win a car?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, where it's like a raffle. She was working in one of them.
Of course, John Terry.
She does bear a striking resemblance to John's mum, Sue. Don't you think?
Yes.
She does, yeah.
Anyway, so they meet at Heathrow and they begin a 5-month affair. And Jane says she thought he was single. Apparently his MO is he would come around and he'd nip out to walk his dog, Munster, and then he'd go around to Jane's in Buckinghamshire. He lives in Cobham, so it's got a long dog walk, but the girlfriend bought it. Jane does give him very good reviews. She says, John was an incredible, insatiable lover and possibly the best I've ever had. He was certainly the most well-endowed and very proud of his huge manhood. It is a running theme in the kiss and tells. They all say he's very good in bed and he's got a huge knob. So
and a hell of a centre back.
Yeah, and only letting 9 goals in that season, 2004-05. Great captain too. So Jane's quite complimentary. She says she had no idea he had a girlfriend, and when she finds out, she's horrified. Jane later goes out with none other than Sven-Goran Eriksson, who cheats on her with Ulrika Johnson, and she sells her story too. But in fairness, every time she sells her story, she says it was, or the paper says it was for charity. The money goes to charity. So, all right, counting down, number 4 favourite kiss and tell is Alicia Duval, who is a glamour model who had 15 boob jobs, getting to an impressive size 30G. I picked this one just because it gives a bit of an insight into John Terry and also footballers' sort of chat-up lines. So Alicia says she was in a nightclub. The other footballers were blanking her because she'd slept with one of them before. But John calls her over and he says, I called you over because you got really nice boobs. And then he tells her, you're the best looking girl in here, puts a cocktail stirrer down her cleavage and then asks her to have a threesome in the loos with another girl, which they do. And they also shag in his Range Rover, which you'll see as a running theme in these hookups. Alicia also gives a bit of a glimpse of the horrible world of footballers chatting up girls. So she says, when it comes to chat up, footballers speak a different language. Other men might pay you a compliment, but a footballer will say something like, my cock is so hard. And she said, yeah, they'll feed you lines about how they've stopped sleeping with their life or don't love them. They'll talk to you for 10 minutes, and if you haven't pulled by then, they lose interest. So it's quite transactional stuff. At least John complimented her booze.
Yeah.
Number 3 on the Kiss and Tells list is the excellently named Shalimar Wimble. Shalimar tells 2 really great stories. The first is that John took her in his car to the M25 and pulled over on the hard shoulder near Junction 9. And they shag on the hard shoulder. And she said John really got off on the idea of other traffic just passing by.
Oh, you would.
And then their next hookup, Shalimar and John sneak into none other than Wayne Bridges' house. So John and Wayne are best mates at this point, and they live a few doors down from each other in Cobham near Chelsea's training ground. And John obviously needs a place to go, can't bring her around to his gaff, can't go for a dog walk in Buckinghamshire. So him and Shalimar go into Wayne Bridges' house. I guess he's got a key or something. And apparently they just get naked downstairs, go upstairs and they're shagging when suddenly they hear Wayne Bridges' car on the gravel and they run downstairs naked to grab all the clothes. But Wayne and his girlfriend come in and she says Wayne didn't exactly look thrilled when he saw her underwear scattered on his sofa downstairs. I don't know if Wayne and John have an agreement that John can do that. Or if he just gave him his key for emergencies and then John's just
to feed the cat when he's away.
Feed the cat.
Wasn't what I meant.
Okay. Number 4 or number 2, I can't remember if I was counting up or down, favourite kiss and tell is 17-year-old Jenny Barker. Her and her mate asked John for an autograph. He's in his car. He sort of leans out the window. And she says, he told us if we gave him our addresses, he would send us photos of himself, which sounds so seedy to a teenager as well. Anyway, I put this in just because she says he was trying to have a threesome with them, but it's only her who comes and meets up with him. They meet up in his Bentley and he puts on Luther Vandross, which is quite romantic. I
Never
thought.
too much.
Yeah, it's quite like old school romance, but then they shag in his Bentley, which I don't think is quite
Not quite so old school.
it's not quite the Luther Vandross vibe, is it? And then the final kiss and tell is Leanne Johnson. And this is my favourite because she is on crutches with a broken leg and they're in a nightclub. And I just picked it because this was the tabloid headline. Terry's hobble on the jobble. Crocked beauty reveals how Ace went out on a limb for romp in a club loo. I just love that they call her Crocked Beauty. Like she's a striker or something. Crocked Ace.
Would it hobble on the jobble?
Yeah. It's like sort of mixing puns up quite nicely. And Leanne says, it was very hard to balance with my broken leg and I was having to lean against the sides of the cubicle. So yeah, those kiss and tells all happen within the space of about 9 to 12 months, I think. They're just like every few weeks there's one. And every time Terry comes out and says like, yeah, I was an idiot, biggest mistake I've ever made, couldn't face losing Tony, my girlfriend and future wife, but like those days are behind me, I've seen sense now. And then just like another story comes around.
How is she still taking this?
Well, she loves him, Zach. And I think he's very charming.
Yeah, he must be.
They get married around this time, not long after. So she obviously believes him.